So hello everyone, welcome back to the Ideas to Impact Entrepreneur Show. I'm your host, Lauren Black, and today I have a very special guest with you here to share all about social media strategy for you as entrepreneurs. So today, let me welcome Rachel Sandall, who is a social media strategist. She got her start she has a master's in journalism from Dublin, Ireland, and she was started out in print publication and doing their website content. And that's when Rachel realized that she wanted to start her own business, and she started Apple Brides, which turned into one of the biggest resources for brides in the Pacific Northwest, which she was able to sell for profit and just built that up and sold that in 2015, and now is the owner of Sandall Social, and that does social media strategy, done for you social media, as well as content creation and training. And so she also is the co-founder of In-House, which teaches social media strategy to you so that you're able to do it on your own. So without further ado, I wanted to say hi and welcome to Rachel. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. That was an amazing introduction.
Oh, thank you. Did I miss anything?
No, you got it all. You got it all. So that was awesome.
Great. So I see that you built this really successful business and sold it in 2015. So what role did social media play in that business?
Well, social media was everything for that business. So I had no money. So I was basically like, how do I grow this business without spending a bunch of money on advertising? And just trying to grow it in a way that's not going to kill me financially. So I learned everything I could about social media. And literally, I never spent a dime of advertising money for almost the entire 5 years that I owned that business. I just used social media. And just being really strategic with the people I was partnering with, the other businesses, and just use content to kind of fuel the social media part of it. So it was all social media.
Wow, that is amazing. I was going to ask you one question of how did you what's the breakdown of percentage of social media versus other marketing? But
okay, well, it's probably slightly less for my Sandall Social, which is client-based business.
Okay.
But I mean, it's still 90%. With Apple Brides, it would have been 100% for sure.
Wow. That is really impressive.
Yeah.
So what goes into a social media plan that is so successful like this?
So it's so vital to start with a social media strategy. Anyone who is making headway on social media has a strategy. Whether they have a document in front of them in their desk that they are looking at and referring to or not, they have some sort of plan and goal for using social media. So you have to start with a strategy is like first and foremost. It's just not enough to throw up a post every day and be like, I posted today. Having goals and then using those goals to build your strategy is key. So I kind of break it down into like 4 areas. So you're going to have to define your audience, looking at who you're talking to, and then look at the landscape of your industry, look at your peers, your competitors, look what they're doing and who they're trying to reach. And then to just audit what you're doing right now. Where are people coming from? How are they finding you? And then just kind of plan accordingly. So you take all of this information into consideration, you look at your goals and you think, what kind of content can support those goals that I have for my business this year, this month? And I just find that's the simplest way to break it down and to kind of make sure you're doing the right things.
Definitely. I think it's so important to have a strategy, as you said, so you're not just pulling things out and saying, check, I posted today. So,
which is what I think so many people do because we're short on time and we just know we need to be using it. And I get it. It happens. But it's just not going to work. Like it just doesn't get the traction that you could get otherwise. So.
Right. And then it's just a waste of time if you're not putting good effort into it that's making it actually work for you. So what are some goals that people could be setting for their social media that they should be aiming for?
So I think when people hear goals and strategy, they're like, I don't even understand. Like, I'm just, a small business owner. I don't think of my business in terms of quarter one, quarter two, quarter three, whatever. But what I think for goals is like, okay, this year I want to get to this goal financially. I want to make this amount of money. Or for this quarter or this season, if you prefer that word, I want to grow sales for this product or this, I want to grow in this industry specifically. I want to get more clients in this industry. I think when you break it down like that, it's just feels a little bit more like real to people who are such a small business. So that's kind of what I mean. So like looking at fall right now, it's like, okay, what do I need to do for the holiday season? That is coming up. So what are my goals for the holiday season, and what content do I need to be creating for that goal? That, we're probably going to have to start doing that in November. And there's probably going to be some planning in that. So what do I need to do now to get there? I think if that answers your question.
Yeah, definitely. And one thing you said in there hit me that just finding the right audience, because if you're just growing your following with people that aren't really going to be customers or buyers or clients, then that's not very strategic. So how do people know where and how to connect with the right people, and what platforms they should even be on for those right people?
And I mean, this is like the most important step of making that strategy, is just knowing who you're talking to. And I think you can do this in a couple ways. I think the best place to start is to look at your Google Analytics, and they break it down so beautifully. You can see there's a social tab, like here's socially where my traffic is coming from. And you may be surprised. You may think your audience is on Instagram, but actually you're getting more traffic from Facebook. And this happens all the time. So first, starting with your Google Analytics, and then looking at the insights of your social platforms. Facebook Insights is like insane, the amount of information you can get there, not only about your audience, but about your competitors, about what's happening in your industry. So I always start with the numbers. And then, look at your current customers and clients. So where have people found you in the past? And don't be romantic about it. Like, where did they come from? Like, ask them or survey them or, whatever it is. And then the other thing I think you should do is look at the competitors and peers in your industry. Where are they spending time? Especially your industry leaders. Like, what do you see them doing? What movements are they making marketing-wise that you should take note of and think, how can I do that for my business? And then your competitor, literally the person you're vying for information or for customers from. They are an invaluable resource for finding out what's working, what's not working, etc.
Yeah. Well, with the tracking and the analytics, I want to hear your kind of opinion or strategy and knowledge of using Linktree within Instagram versus just a straight link. Because I know some people say it's harder to track with Linktree. So what do you suggest as far as being able to track your links out from Instagram?
So I love Linktree. I think Linktree is an amazing tool. A lot of people can build their own Linktree on their website, and if you can do that, you should. It's totally great, but I think for a lot of us, that's just not something we can do or want to spend the time doing. I do back up my insights with Linktree by using Bitly, so that I can track links even more successfully. I hardly use this analytics on Linktree. I use the analytics on Bitly more, and then Google Analytics as well. So between the three of them, you can get a pretty good idea of what's working.
Yeah, definitely. And for those who maybe don't know what Linktree is, I guess I should have explained from the start. Linktree is a site that you can add multiple links to your Instagram. So when people click your one Instagram link that you get, you can then direct them to other links within your business. And then Bitly is also, it's a URL shortener. And I would have never thought of using Bitly to track the analytics through. So I really, really like that idea. So thank you.
And I love Bitly. I use Bitly for everything. It's like the best.
Yeah. Well, it's so much easier to shorten things than to send people a super long URL. And so one thing that I have always had a question about is that when you're stalking your clients to know kind of what their styles are and what they're interested in so that you can build social media content for them. I know with business to business, it's easy because they've got websites, they've got their own social media platforms. So you're able to see what their styles are, what they're posting, what they're engaging in. But with business to consumer, how would people go about finding, what interests their clients?
So I think it's kind of the same thing, is looking at your analytics again and seeing where people are coming from. And I think business to consumer, you're also going to be looking at the influencers in your industry. I think this is really a treasure trove for the consumer business, is looking at the blogs people are going to, the Instagram influencers, and seeing the kind of content that they're creating, and seeing if you can partner with them. First of all, that's like the best way to do it, but also just like looking at what people are responding to and where people are hanging out. Yeah, so then the other thing I think you do is you just have to be trying things. Literally what I was doing last year on social media at this exact time is not working right now. Our strategy has to change constantly. So you really have to be a slave to those stats. You have to continually be looking at them and reevaluating and seeing what's working. And when you do that, you learn so much, and you're going to learn faster than the people that aren't, because it'll take them a long time to realize, oh, actually, this is not getting me the traffic that I was getting from it before. So just being able to move with the flow of social media is going to be a huge advantage, especially for consumer businesses, I think.
Yeah, and I think that when things are changing so much, and there will be new social media platforms that pop in, and things that kind of fade out. Periscope went in and out so quick that you do have to keep up with those trends and keep up with where your clients are, because they could move around between platforms. They might get frustrated with Facebook and they move to Instagram or Snapchat.
Well, I mean, even Facebook, like looking at how people are using it now, as of this month, September, is like people are using groups more. Facebook pages are changing. It's becoming something else than even 3 months ago. So I think just being willing to try new things and not be scared if it doesn't work, I think that's a huge thing that you have to do marketing on social media.
Yeah, I know. I've almost given up on Facebook pages. I still use my Facebook page, but it takes so much effort to get that organic engagement, because Facebook just wants you to pay for your engagement.
I feel the exact same way, but Facebook is like Google. It's like you have to deal with this beast of Facebook because it's connected to so many other things. And I kind of see my Facebook page as like a platform for other things, for my group and for Facebook ads, which are an amazing tool.
Yeah.
And if I don't have a Facebook page, I can't use the ads, so it's all connected.
Right. Yeah, I know some people that have considered with their new businesses not having a Facebook page, and I think that's the wrong move.
Oh, totally.
Even if it's really tough to get followers, you still need it for, as you said, the Facebook ads and to links to your group. And I feel like a lot of times people go on your Facebook page just to look through what content you've put out there. They may not find it organically, but when they click on your profile and they see that, which means everybody, you need to have your Facebook page linked to your personal profile so that people can find your page and look through your content. And if your content hasn't been updated in months, it's going to look like your business is stagnant.
It just doesn't look good. Yeah. And I mean, okay, so I don't recommend that you do this, but some people will just auto post from Instagram. Auto posting from Instagram is better than not posting. So it's not ideal, but it's better than not posting at all. So, even if every couple posts you post on Instagram, you put that through to your Facebook page. And then what I tell people to do is pin a post at the top of your Facebook page, just being like, hey, I usually hang out over on Instagram. Here's my link. So they know that you're active, but maybe, to go find you somewhere else.
Right. Yeah, that's a great tip.
I mean, you can't have a business Instagram without a Facebook page.
True.
So you're not going to get very far on any of the platforms without a really solid Facebook presence, honestly.
Yeah. So what are some suggestions, things that you've seen that work to actually get engagement on Facebook?
Facebook engagement, I think, again, it's creating native content. So like Facebook video or going live on Facebook is one of the best ways right now to get engagement. And then to upload videos directly onto Facebook. Facebook's goal is to have people stay on the platform. So they don't love links. They don't love you trying to get people off of their platform. So trying to kind of keep that in mind and putting videos out that are uploaded into Facebook or doing live feeds, or posting a photo directly.
Okay.
That's the bare minimum, but yeah, that's what I would say is just natively uploading content.
Yeah. Do you think if you add a link in a comment, would that be considered kind of negative against your Facebook?
So what I usually do, and I find I get good success with this, is like I'll upload a photo directly, and then put the link of the blog post or whatever in that. So right now that seems to be working. I don't know what will happen soon. And it's not that you can never post a link. It's just you're just not going to get the engagement, generally speaking, that you would if you uploaded something.
Right.
The other thing, and I heard Buffer, the scheduling software, wrote this blog post, and it's amazing, and I should try to find it for you so you can link it for your fans. But it's called Edutainment. So what's working on Facebook right now is either educational content or entertaining content. So those two things, Buffer, like they started posting less, but only focusing on those two things. And their reach and their organic engagement and all of that went like up by 300% or something insane.
Wow.
So this means things, educational videos, yes, but also funny things, entertaining things, you know, memes, GIFs. Like right now that is working so well and playing so well on Instagram as well. So, you know, really trying to entertain people or educate people. I think that is a really good strategy for Facebook right now.
Yeah. So what would you say overall would be an example of a social media strategy plan for, you know, somebody in a service-based business, online service-based business? What would they be, you know, looking to do?
Well, I would say the best thing to do is I actually have a free strategy sheet. It's like fill in the blank that you can download, which I would start there. And it kind of breaks this down all for you. But I would say the best thing to do is to, like I said, start with your analytics and look at where you are right now. We have to know where we're starting. And a strategy basically just shows you how you're going to get to your goals. So to know your goals and to know your strategy, or to know your analytics, and then think about content that you can literally write under those goals. Okay, I want to increase sales in this category this quarter. So what do I need to do content-wise to make that happen? So say you have new sweaters for your fall line. Okay, so how can I create content that's going to help me move those sweaters? So you could do blog posts about 5 sweaters under $50 for fall. You could do trends for, you know, sweaters. And so literally have the goal and then right under the goal, here's the content that supports this goal. And here's how I'm going to do it. And here's the timeline. And then starting there.
I think that's great. And it makes it easier overall to come up with your ideas, because instead of just pulling things out of thin air for your social media, you're able to write a blog post about it and then come up with posts for, you know, Twitter and Facebook, Instagram, wherever your audience is, based on your content, and it all kind of intertwines together.
And it works. I mean, and when I think people get so overwhelmed by all the hoops that we kind of make ourselves jump through for these kind of businessy things. And it's like, really what it comes down to is I need this to happen. What do I have to do to make this happen?
Yeah. Reverse engineer it.
And it doesn't need to be complicated. It just needs to be executed. So
yes. Yeah. Done is better than perfect, and taking those steps and taking the action. So, and people could definitely hire this out, and that's what you do.
Yes. If you don't want to deal with it, that's fine. I'll handle it for you.
Yeah. So there are people who are experts at this that, you know, I'm always telling my audience to evaluate where their weaknesses are, where they aren't as efficient as someone else, or what their bottlenecks are. So if you're finding, you might even have an assistant that helps you post to social media, but if you're, you know, bottlenecking on the content and you're not creating the content that needs to go, then that's setting you back from getting it done and putting it out there.
Yeah. And even with the clients that I have, I mean, I work the best and we have the most success when we're working together to create content. I give them ideas and then they create the content, because it has to be them. Because it can't be me. I can't create content for someone else's business, you know?
Yeah.
I can create content, but I can't do the video and I can't, so just keeping that in mind too.
Yeah. And now, what was the link to that worksheet? Do you have that offhand, or you had mentioned there was like a fill in the blank?
I can look.
Okay, we will link that in the show notes below.
Yes.
So that, and then Rachel also provided a free social media strategy for solopreneurs mini course at bit.ly. It's bit.ly/in-house mini course. That's all caps, but we will link that so that you can just click below. So
and that's where you can get that strategy sheet. So that mini course comes with my strategy sheet. And this is literally the strategy sheet that I use for my clients, for myself, and my in-house members. So it's really thorough.
Thank you. Yeah, that's amazing, because that's a great way for people to just get their foot in the door with a strategy for their social medias, that you're able to, start working in that direction, maybe before they're ready to hire someone out, if they want to test out and start to see what's working, and so that someone can take them even further.
It's a good place to start for sure.
Yeah. All right. Well, do you have any other tips or tricks for social media, trends you've seen, or anything you'd like to share?
I think there's two things if you're going to be successful on social media. First of all, consistency. It's the hardest one to get, but I think my next point will help you do this, is to carve out an hour at the beginning of the week, Monday morning or Sunday evening, that you can devote to your social media. If you make those changes, it will happen. I promise you. I've seen it so many times. Like, the idea of us, every day at 1 o'clock or whatever, freaking out because we don't have something to post, and then we spend an hour looking for something, or we just throw something up, it just doesn't work. But if you take the time to batch produce and batch schedule your content, you will find that it's going to take less time and be way more effective. So that's my biggest piece of advice for small business owners and social media.
I think that's great. I know one thing I did to help me batch with my first business, Legacy Loft, I do graphic design, and I did my own photo shoot and took a ton of brand photos so that I had a library to choose from. And so instead of randomly just pulling things from the internet or having to stress over finding images at the last minute, I had that whole library ready that I could pull things easy.
Yeah, and if you can't take photos, get with a photographer and make that happen, because you will have so much content that will be so much easier for you. It'll make your life a billion times easier for sure.
Yeah. And it makes it more personal. People know who you are. If you've got custom photos that you're using and your certain style, that people, as they're scrolling through Instagram, they'll know that that's you. That
feels like you or whatever. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, thank you so much for being here. I think there are a lot of really great pieces of content that I'm going to have to go through and take notes myself from everything that you shared. So this has been great.
Good, I'm glad. Yeah. Thank you so much. This is fun.
You're welcome. And so you can, do you want to share where all you can be found, your favorite social media platforms or your websites?
Yeah, I'm on all of them, generally speaking, but I probably spend the most time on Instagram at inhouse_, and then on Facebook, inhouse. You can find me there, and we have a private Facebook group and that kind of stuff too. So it's the best. Awesome.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much. So
yeah,
thank you everybody for tuning in. If you found this helpful, make sure you give it a thumbs up and let us know in the comments what you do to have a social media strategy and what you learned from today's session. So catch you all later. Bye.